What's up, everyone? Michigan 1777 here. I finished watching the Lions game today, and I must say it looked a lot better than last week, but I did have a few critiques I wanted to make as well as a few praises I wanted to make as well. Looking at the game today, I'm going to start off. First, if you could, please rate, comment, subscribe. Let's get that out of the way. Please subscribe especially. I'm going to be talking about Michigan football and the Detroit Lions every week, so I'd really appreciate it if you do that. Trying to build my channel up and get more viewers. But first off, I wanted to talk about just overall how the team played. They looked a lot better this week. I was impressed by the effort that they had put in, especially toward the end of the game. They stepped up a lot. They looked like they were playing for something, which was very nice to see as a difference. Normally, especially last week, they looked like they had just given up. And, in my previous video, I would have said the same thing. The thing I liked this week especially, the pass coverage was a lot better. I think our secondary actually played very well. And our D-line, they got 4 or 6 sacks. I don't know how many sacks they got, but that's where I'm going to start the critiques. Our D-line, the only reason they got those sacks is because the secondary played extremely well today. They were coverage sacks. Our D-line is pitiful, honestly, and that's where I start to see the struggles come in with the rushing. They give up way too many rushing yards a game, and it's very unfortunate to see that. We should be able to see the D-line start stepping up at some point, I'm hoping, if Ziggy Ansah ever comes back, but it seems like he's always injured, and that's the reason obviously we didn't give him the extended contract. Next, I think Jim Bob Cooter called a little bit better of a game this week. There were adjustments, and I want to give the team credit for that. I did see quite a few adjustments. I think the one thing I really picked up on this week that I liked is that we started out the game passing the ball, which a lot of people are like, well, you need to establish the run game. I think this team, if I actually break it down, I think Patricia and Jim Bob Cooter might be able to figure this out. If you can pass first, it will open up the run. And that's kind of what they did today at a very minute level. They started out passing the ball, and they got a little bit of momentum going. Obviously, they started out very slow still, but a little bit more momentum than usual, and ended up opening the holes a bit for LeGarrette Blount and Kerryon Johnson. I think they were averaging like 4 or 5 yards a carry, which is very nice. And the only reason I can say that this happened is because we were selling a play action so well as well. They were respecting our run game still, but they were also respecting our pass game, which opened it up a little bit. So I'm thinking, moving on from here, we might start seeing them focus pass first, rush second, but with more rushing attempts in there, because I think that we could have run the ball more. The only problem we came upon is if we don't score on those opening drives and get ahead, we're not going to see the run game, because Jim Bob Cooter tends to lean away from the run game if we get down, which is, he's not very patient with his play calling. If you're down by 7, you shouldn't abandon the run game. And he still does that, and then it makes us very predictable. So I'm hoping from here they'll kind of start looking at that, and maybe we'll see more of Kerryon Johnson and LeGarrette Blount running the football. And on top of this, the offensive line looked stellar today. I haven't seen this offensive line play that well in a long, long time. And it was so satisfying seeing the lanes opening up for the run game, as well as the pass blocking was great as well. That might just be a credit to the 49ers defensive line. Might not be as stellar as what people would like to say, but I was very happy with how they played. And I think in part of this is because they were able to finally start getting a push with this. It was slightly more balanced. Not obviously, it was still pass heavy, but being slightly more balanced than what it was last week. I think they're able to can adjust themselves. I saw a play where Graham Glasgow pulled as a guard on the run play, and he did stellar. It's almost like if you can get a good amount of play calling and keep them fresh, and a good amount of pass and rush, they will tend to do better in pass blocking and run blocking, because there's just a fair transition between the two. It makes it less predictable. And on top of that, it doesn't make them look as bad because they're not queuing on blitzes as often either, because they know that we're not just going to be passing the ball all the time. Sort of better game. Stafford played okay. He still missed too many wide open receivers. There were about 4 deep passes where he blew them. I mean, honestly, that's all I can say. And I think in time he will get better with that. And I think if they do implement a pass first run option kind of thing like I was talking about, and getting Stafford in a rhythm early, we'll start seeing those consistent throws come back. But I think overall he played okay today. We still need to move the ball more, but a lot of that too is, play calling. They need to establish more of that and get better in that aspect. And then the receivers today played very well. I was looking at the stats today. I didn't realize that Kenny Golladay had 114 yards last week receiving, and he had another 89 today. Golden Tate went over 100 today. I'm not sure how many Marvin Jones had, but if we're actually looking at the stats, Kenny Golladay, I think, is our number 2 receiver right now in terms of stats, and he's been our most consistent receiver. He hasn't dropped. I don't think he's dropped very many passes. And he's been very consistent, which is excellent to see from this guy. You know, we want to keep seeing that. Keep getting better, obviously, and it's nice having a big target out there for Stafford to throw to. Then we get to the bad part too. Theo Riddick out of the backfield, he played that last drive on the comeback. You got to catch those balls. I don't care who you are. You got to catch the ball, especially in the middle of the field. You just drop it. I mean, you got to, if you're in that situation, good teams still have to come back at some point. And if you can't make those plays as an individual, you don't deserve to win those games. We didn't deserve to win today, but clearly we had a chance. And one guy dropping 2 passes consecutively really kills us. The second pass from Stafford wasn't perfect down the field, but it was where it needed to be. It was away from the defender, and Theo, you should have caught it. And that's fine. I understand, you drop passes every now and again, but in a situation like that, you need to be reliable. Typically you are. I don't want to knock you for that, but overall I did see improvement. And this is what I wanted to say from the previous week. We could have won that game. That's what I want to say. We could have won that game. And there's a lot you can learn from this game. And I liked the adjustments. And I saw more noticeable adjustments than even when Jim Caldwell was coaching. He would implement things a couple games in advance or a couple games later. He would go, 4 or 5 games, and really we'd start seeing changes. But it was a pretty immediate change. I liked the direction of the team, and I think Matt Patricia and Jim Bob Cooter are actually going to keep working their way through this. I actually think that this team still has potential, and I don't want to knock them yet. We still haven't started our NFC game yet, or our NFC games yet. We're going to be starting those in 2 weeks against Green Bay, or I think it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know. On top of that, Vikings and Packers tied today, so they only have a half a game on us now. If we ended up doing well, I mean, that's a half a game. You never know when that half a game could come back to bite you in the butt for both of those teams, especially because they both tied. They're both in the NFC North. We can set ourselves up for victory if they just keep making these adjustments and getting better every month, which I have no doubts in my mind. I think Matt Patricia can do it, and I don't want everyone to start losing hope on this team. Even though they're 0-2, there are still 14 games left in the season, and I'm going to be positive with it. I liked what I saw today in a lot of aspects. I didn't like a lot of stuff that I saw in other aspects, but I think as a whole, this team is going to get a lot better. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and hopefully, this team keeps getting better and we'll have more to root for at the end of the season. Hopefully, we will be in a good position for the NFC North and as well as a potential playoff berth. Thank you all. Have a great evening, great day, or whatever it might be, and I hope to talk to you all later.